Okay, Manchester, UK. 3 videos at a time with Stephen Goddard. Hello everyone. So today come to an area called the Burrs. It's a nature reserve these days. But I'm going to start the Manchester, Bolton and Bury Company Canal explanation. So this is the introduction because I've never really done it properly. So we're just going through the woods. I'll start at the top of the gate and we're going to explain some of the things that the canal feeder here is for the canal, Manchester Bury Bolton Canal. The Manchester Bury Bolton Company later became the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway Company. So during the playlist and these videos, which I am now updating with a proper intro, you will get information about the LYR, Lancashire Yorkshire Railway Company, and the Manchester Bolton Bury Company, which are the same company. The companies were founded by Mr. Yates, Mr. Hayworth and Mr. Peel. Peel's son became Prime Minister Sir Robert Peel. So that's the railway. It's slightly out of focus, but it's okay. And in here, how's the wheel? So the gate, which feeds the canal reservoir, there's a massive wheel in there. As you can see, the shape is round. And the gate comes over the top there. And we're going to start at the top and explain our way back to this bit. And then we're going to go off and follow all the way to the canal. So we'll go to the reservoir that feeds the canal. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope to make it all in one, the full length of the gate. No other explanations about Peel Mills, which was in this area. This obviously powered a mill at one point in history. But I'll show you the flow of water and how they powered it. And then we'll go over 1.9 miles away to the end of the feeder. Gate feeder, canal feeder. I think it's possibly the longest gate in Manchester. So we're going to shoot up to the top and get started. Manchester, UK, as I said, 3 videos of time. So as I said, we'd get here. You can pretty much see it in front of me. That's the weir. The weir was built on a natural waterfall between 2 valleys. Well, in a valley, but 2 rocks. On either side is solid rock. So the weir digs in at either end into solid rock and is pushed by the weight of the water that's behind it. Okay, so it's all built in. Get some shots down below later so we can see the height. And behind it is a lake. And this is the start of the gate. And this is the start of the gate for the canal feeder. So that's what all this structure's for powering the mills and for the canal. And that is in essence a massive reservoir built into the River Irwell. There's the old iron controls, and it enters there. It comes out on that side. Yeah, so as I said, I don't want to go too deep into things because I'm just trying to follow the guide and put it together as one long line so it makes sense and shows you how long it is. It drops like an inch every few meters. So the other thing is, I'm convinced it was a miniature canal of some description for the mills in the area. You can see it's wide and deep enough to be, you know, a little canal for little boats, which, you know, not narrow boat size or full canal barge size. Just boats to float things along like coal and cotton and bits and bats, even people. But there's evidence of it being a canal structure when you look closely. Underneath where the grass has been taken away, you see, there's actually stone structures. And there's the river Burwell. And of course I've got to do some editing because there's people about. Also it's here 2021 and we've come out of what was the COVID lockdown. And it would make sense because it leads all the way over to the canal. So it is, you know, as well as horses and carts and you could float things along to get it into the town centre of Bury, which has then got a major links into Manchester and onward. There's no Manchester Ship Canal for like 100 years after this. Bridgewater Canal was the only canal, and this was built during Canal Mania. The weir may be slightly older, like 1780. I'm just going to show you it leads off down here now. So we are just talking about the guide today, all the way down that way. Search COVID lockdown at any time, you feel free, because this video is to document the canal, but it's also a little bit about history and what's going on in the world. But I don't like to talk about current affairs too much because they go out of date. The canal doesn't, you see. The infrastructure of Manchester is what I am actually trying to film. North Manchester. I did break into southern Manchester in the end. I went along the Bridgewater Canal, got as far as Timperley. and that's where it leads from. So that's an explanation as we walk in this direction down the canal feeder. Saw some of Altringham's older buildings, Tudor style, so I'm going to film some of those at some point. Anyway, the guide carries on round and down. So, get to a point now where there's a little bridge. Also some more evidence that boats may have gone along here, as there's steps that go down. I know that's in the modern world, canoe enthusiasts use it. But this is where the first stage of the Guyt splits into two sections. And I'm just going to show you where it goes. I'm not telling you about the mills. There is another video that explains Peel Mills. It's in 720 HD in my earlier days, but I'm not going to redo it. Not at this stage. So there's more information about the mill, which is over in the distance, the chimney is. But we want the Guyt today. And it feels good to be out again. It really does feel good to be out filming. The new season, 2021. It feeds this reservoir first of all. Reservoir would have been for a mill. Goes under this bridge here. So now it goes off over there through a gap. That is the feeder for the canal. That goes off over the aqueduct, which we'll film next in a straight line. And it also goes over a weir here, which eventually ends up at the water wheel. We're going to walk down to the water wheel, and it goes through the mill and over that weir. At this point we have to jump over there. And we jump over here to the weir. And then if I can avoid the sunset, I'll just show you the gate. It's what we call a sluice gate. And I'm stood on it. And the canal goes off in a straight line there, over an aqueduct. And just walk along as I said I would. But here's where the Guyt is now split. I'm in the middle of that one. Leads up over there. And this one leads up over here. So that would be the site of the old mill. That's the old Guyt, as I showed you, goes to the water wheel. And then this bit is the aqueduct. And it goes in a straight line, straight across. I'm going to film that straight across. And just the UK brief videos at a time. I'll get some shots of the aqueduct from below. And then just follow the Guyt as I've said I will do. Well, let's get some of the stonework. This is it's the only one remaining in the country this type of aqueduct just to carry a guy over the river. Ideally, we wouldn't want the sun on this side of us, but there we go. Crosses that aqueduct. As I say, it's one of the greatest things left from the Industrial Revolution. It should be grade 1 listed, it's grade 2 listed. And then this half of the guide, which led off from the mill, goes behind the old workers' cottages. Bit more evidence of boat activity on it. Flowing off down there over a weir, where you'll see that some more water wheels and things like that. Yeah, from behind the cottages over that little weir, under this little bridge, you can see it flowing slightly. And some of the fixtures and fittings here would have powered things at one point. There's evidence that that's cobbled, you see, like a weir over the bridge. And I'm going to explain this now. So this half of the guide powers all the workings, then reaches a bridge. See, there's something interesting about this bridge. I'll try and film myself a bit more in these episodes, but also I still want to film the guy in the background if possible. It's not about me, it's about the guy. So as I say, it splits in two, so it's 1.9 miles long, but technically it's probably an extra mile long because it's 2. So it reaches this point and it goes over the bridge. You can see the hole for it there. It goes straight over a bridge underneath in pipes. And you will get the railway bridge over there. That's the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway Company, who also built all these structures. Fills its first reservoir here, and this is where we enter into the last mill and the water wheel. So yeah, it goes under the bridge and fills this, which is fascinating, isn't it? These little facts. Just comes out there. It acts like a lake, but it is actually also possible to put boats on that. So let's say it's part 1 to the introduction of the Manchester Bury Bolton Canal Company. We'll get all burrs. The other gate system, or the second part to it, is higher up at this point. That's dropped through a few weirs, this one. So this lake's slightly higher and must be fed by the other feeder, the gate that goes to the reservoir that feeds the length of the canal. It's for knob end locks, the main reason, but that's part of the explanation of the canal. So this lake is fed by the other gate underground somewhere in a tunnel. This lake goes off and fills a rather pretty lake at the bottom, and then we'll get some of the structures that powered mills, possibly some of the old workers' cottages. So they're the workers' cottages for Upper Wood Hill Mill, which would have been sited just through these trees here. And we'll go and just see. And the water wheel powered Upper Wood Hill Mill. Trying to get it all in, as I said. Quite a lot of information, that's why I'm concentrating just on the flow of the guides. So the lower gate now fills, this is the site of the old mill. It's for, they're the workers' cottages. But that's the lower gate now, goes into the water wheel chamber at the bottom. You're going to get sufficient horsepower out of a wheel that size. So it's a big mill. You know, it's not messing about around here. Industrial revolution at its finest, it really is. Big company, very wealthy company, own these gates and water systems. The original power, weren't they? Before coal and electricity, it was water power. So all that remains now, we're back on the lower gate. The mill's just slightly higher behind us, and this reservoir is to supply the water wheel. Just, you call them reservoirs, it's like a basin or a bowl of water. So it fills that, and then that flows off down over the water wheel. The idea is so it doesn't run out of water. And they used to work long hours, but they gave it time to fill up overnight. And there's another water culvert just there in the middle. So we just jump round. Yeah, there's a structure there made of brick, and that'll take water. There's a gas cylinder, and we'll get closer to the railway bridge. So that's a gas holder foundation. One of the first gas cylinders, chambers. There's structures all over for old bridges and such. And we're just going to get these last two things over here. Like Manchester, UK. It's like a Lowry picture. And that's where another engine was sighted at one point. So we go down, and as I say, the gate feeder went into the mill at that point, and they said it went underground, which it does, down into here, which is a very interesting little bit, which I didn't find until very recently. Remember, these sites are over 200 years old, 225 years old in some cases. The canal is 200 years, 220 years old. And this is where the water goes through the water wheel and then emerges here out of this tunnel. And we can get quite close to this tunnel. I think we can anyway, and get a good look up there. Okay, everybody. We should be able to see light at the end of that tunnel anyway. No, it's blocked off. Hello? Unfortunately, we can't see anything. Although I did try to get a shot, can't really get much. So we'll get the shape of it. So that is where the water came out from. And no doubt there was probably boats along here. And there's a wall built there. It then joins the Irwell. So half the gate is going all the way over to Elton to start the Bolton Canal soon. But this half of the gate re-enters the OL there, just at the end of that run. And if you look here, there's actually tram lines in there. So there was a train or a tram that came down here also, all the way along there. Look. I didn't find this part until very recently. So let's jump up and get the rest of the other bit. I'll just film this one more time and get the wall. Hopefully that made enough sense to be an introduction to the Manchester, Bolton and Bury company, and that's the name of the company, and they owned the canal. They later owned the railways. It was a Lancashire Yorkshire railway company. That was previously Manchester Leeds Railway Company. Technically the same name, because Yorkshire and Lancashire is the same really as Leeds and Manchester. So there you go. This is part one, as I've said. We're going to tie it up. You'll see where the upper gate goes off over towards Elton. Part two will be Elton. There's an old cobbled stone street here. Peace out, Manchester. And then from all the way down the channel there is the aqueduct. You can see. I'm not sure. That's where we left from. Yeah, over that way in this little bridge. Manchester, UK. And then it disappears over there into the far distance.